Hello everyone, good evening. It is currently 9 o'clock here in Sioux Lookout at Wassa. It is time for PLAR history and geography. Again, hopefully everyone is doing well and continuing to working on their assignments. This is the end of week number 8, which means that next week is our last and final week for this term, term 1A. So we're going to wrap things up all next week. So we're almost done this term, almost done this course before we start it all over again next term in 1B. Once again, my name is Jonathan and I am your teacher for this course, History and Geography, the Social Studies component of PLAR. Again, hopefully we'll have some students on tonight's live with us. Again, you can always call the Wassa studio either at home or at your learning center. Again, if you have any questions in regards to your assignments, anything in regards to this course, give me a shout during my office hours when I'm there. Send me an email, jho@nnec.on.ca. And Facebook, social media. If you have a Facebook, again, add me as a friend, Jho Wassa. You can always inbox me if you have any questions that way as well. Again, note that my office hours are for this week and next week are the same for this term, but just a reminder that I'm not usually in office on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon. So if you have any questions regarding that, just leave a message or send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I do notice that some students are emailing me or are asking questions when I'm not there, which is fine. And I apologize when I'm not there, just that it's not during my office hours, but I will get back to you as soon as I can, either on my own time or especially when I'm back in office. Again, my office hours are going to change again next term. I believe next term I'm teaching in the mornings, so I'll have more consistent, regular office hours next term. But we'll talk more about that next term. All right. I don't have any announcements other than, again, this is week 8, which means that next week is the last week for this term and for everyone else's courses as well. So we'll wrap things up next week. We're almost done. We have basically 2 more lessons or topics that we need to discuss in terms of geography or physical geography in this lesson, lesson number 5. If you were here with us last week or have caught up, last class we talked about global warming and climate change, very current and controversial and interesting topic. Again, if you have missed that, you can always go back to the Wassa archive page or my YouTube channel, or just check out in your textbook or ask any questions if you have any difficulties with that. But today, we are talking about pollution and conservation. Pollution and conservation. In a way, it's a very short lesson. I pretty much just summed it all up from your textbook into a couple of slides that we'll look over in terms of assignment number 15. We'll probably work on that together since it's such a big assignment. Lots of questions and lots of different types of questions that you will see very, very shortly. Other than that, let's get to our learning goals for tonight. Again, your learning goals are your expectations, how it links to the curriculum, and what you will be knowing and understanding and learning at the end of tonight's class or by the end of the lessons and so forth. So again, keep in mind that our theme for tonight is pollution and conservation. So, couple learning goals that I have note. I'm not going to write this out loud, but I'm going to say it. To know what upset the balance of nature and how people or individual upset the balance of nature. Next, to understand what causes pollution. What is pollution? What causes it? Why is it good? Why is it bad? and how it harms and affects the environment and the people. Okay, that's one of our main focus for tonight. Next, to understand the difference between renewable and non-renewable sources or resources or types of energy. Okay, renewable and non-renewable. And finally, to understand the different types of conservations out there. Okay, so again, we'll be looking at, I'm going to jot this down, balance of nature. Again, very broad term. And how we upset it or disturb it. Pollution. Again, what causes pollution and how it harms and affects the environment and people. Renewable and non-renewable sources or resources. And different types of conservations in general. Alrighty, so these are our learning goals for tonight's. Again, very short lessons in terms of just a couple slides. But again, all this is in your textbook as we go along. Are there any questions, comments, concerns before we start tonight's lecture and lesson? Again, at any point, just feel free to interrupt and ask any questions. Again, this is your class. Again, I like to revolve everything around your learning and your interests as well. Alright, so we're going to start things off tonight on page 64 in your textbook. So hopefully everyone has your textbook, and we're looking at page 64. That's where we are beginning tonight's class. So how do people upset the balance of nature? Again, a question that I have posed. Again, there are many, many different examples. In your textbook, it talks about these 5 examples. Destroying habitats of living things or animals. Okay, so we disturb animals, habitats. We cut down trees for farms in towns and cities. So again, chopping down trees and forests is another disturbance. Again, if you think about it in terms of expanding our community and our lifestyle and our way of living, we have to cut down trees. Again, that affects animals and their habitats as well. We build dams for energy. We mining or extract minerals from the ground. And pollution, whether it's we do it or just in general pollution. Okay. So again, expansion from homes and communities. Cutting down trees and forests really displace living animals. Again, pollution, that can relate back to global warming that we talked about last class. Different weather patterns, more rain, stronger storms and hurricanes. Building roads, okay, so instead of having gravel roads, we now have paved roads. Again, that in a way upsets the balance of nature. We need to have an ecological balance. Okay, an ecological balance. Again, removal of trees and vegetation. It changes the landscape. It impacts the water source. It impacts the soil. All this relates back to deforestation. And all this goes back into like population growth, how we want to expand. So again, we upset the balance of nature in many different ways and many different factors. As a result, species of animals find it harder to survive, and we upset the balance of nature. Okay, so again, we need to take into account our wildlife friends. It could be any different types of species. Uh, we gotta take them into account, or they become endangered, or they even become extinct. Okay, so again, the environment, what's around us. Okay, that includes human beings, people, and even animals and living organisms, trees, and plants as well. But our main focus for tonight, in a way, is going to be looking at pollution. So we're going to, in a way, define pollution and see how it affects us and the environment. Again, this starts on page 64 and it goes on towards page 65 as well in your textbook. So what is pollution? Pollution is a major problem. Just like global warming and climate change, pollution is a factor to it. It is just another component, and it's a major problem. People upset the balance of nature with pollution. Okay, so in a way, we cause pollution or the increase of amount of pollution. Pollution is anything that harms the environment. Okay, the environment. Again, anything that surrounds us. It occurs when harmful substances or pollutants are released into the environment. Again, this could be in many different forms and factors. It could be air, land, water pollution. Okay, the air that we breathe could be pollutants. Uh, our land, okay, in terms of garbage and waste. And our water supply, again, chemicals getting into our source of water. Again, all this poison or affects the environments, and it can spread pretty quickly into all components. So water can spread to air and land and vice versa. All this is significant and important to note because pollution causes illness. Again, we don't want to get sick. Again, myself, I was sick last week. I had a stuffy nose, whether it was a flu or a cold, who knows, but I drank a lot of water, had a lot of sleep. Again, we don't want that to happen. Again, pollution can cause that. Okay, different kinds of sickness and illnesses. Birth defects, something more dramatic. Breathing problem, respiratory disease, and other health problems such as trouble breathing, asthma, other factors. Okay, especially the youth, especially our elders, okay, who are more at risk to this. Okay, pollution, okay, a big problem, okay, a big problem. So that's pollution. That's what pollution is. Again, harmful substances or pollutants are released into the atmosphere. It can affect the air, the land, the water. It affects us because we increase more pollution again due to like driving and factories and industrial activities. Again, pictures. Again, maybe next term I'll try to integrate more pictures. But again, we have water. Okay, we shouldn't be dumping garbage or anything into our source of water. So oceans, river, lakes, don't dump our garbage in there. Again, that causes pollution and other chain of reactions and diseases and so forth. The air, again, especially in urban area, factories, again, creates jobs, but yes, there are more pollution. Uh, I noticed that there's this factory in Dryden. Every time you guys drive through Dryden, you guys smell that unique odor in the air. Again, that's an example of air pollution. Again, another example. And land, okay, garbage. Again, we should always try to reduce the amount of garbage that we use. A lot of things nowadays are recyclable or organic waste. So to give a classic example, back in my hometown in Brampton, they pick up garbage twice a week. Twice a week, not just every week or every day or whatnot. Don't know how it works here in Silicon, to be honest, but back home in Brampton, we pick up garbage twice a week, and recyclers also pick up twice a week. They had this system where they have this giant bin for recycled, and this other bin for organic waste, and this other bin for other materials, and another bin for garbage. So they kind of have a system where you break down your garbage so that you try to have less garbage. Okay, so try to put your compost into the organic area and your recycling, all that, and garbage is just garbage, but we should have less and less garbage all the time. Again, just an example of pollution to try to reduce it. The ozone layer, it's in your textbook, so we're going to talk about it. It relates to pollution in a way, and this is on page 65. Okay, the ozone layer. The ozone layer is this imaginary layer high up in the atmosphere. Again, this imaginary layer in the atmosphere high up there is called the ozone layer. The purpose of the ozone layer is to block ultraviolet or UV light coming in from the sun, which causes skin cancer, eye problems, and other health problems as well. It affects plants and animals, but we destroy the ozone layer with chemicals and pollutions and whatnot into the air. Again, it damages the ecosystem if our ozone layer is damaged. So in a way, our ozone layer is like this protective layer between our planet, the Earth, and the sun, which is way high up in the atmosphere. But as years go by and as evidence have proven, our ozone layer has holes in it. It's becoming much thinner, which means that the sun ultraviolet or UV light is breaking through that layer much easier, and we're more exposed to the sun, which causes skin cancer, eye problems, and other factors as well. Hence why it is important and really stress that on hot summer days when it's really sunny out, we wear sunscreen for this factor. Okay, sunscreen. But again, know the purpose of it and how it can harm us, the plants, and animals. Okay. Again, there's way more details online in terms of the ozone layer, whether it's reducing or getting damaged. Again, I'm not an expert on it. Again, if you want more information, I can dig up on into it and share it for next time as well. Acid rain, again, another little definition that relates to pollution. Again, is also stated in your textbook on the very next page, 66. Acid rain is simply just rain that's more acidic. Okay, so think of a lemon or a lime. It is acidic. Think of that with the mixture to rain. Okay, so acid rain is just simply just rain that is more acidic. It caused from human impacts. Okay, so we actually cause acid rain. Okay, how and do we do it? Well, cars, again, we drive cars and our vehicles. It releases carbon dioxide, where it goes up into the air. It gets mixed with the clouds. And as it mixes with the clouds up in the atmosphere, it causes snow and rain to fall. And we have acid rain. Okay, so it's kind of like a little effect. Cars and trucks trains, power plants, and industry spurs uh, sulfur and nitrogen into the air, combines the sunlight, water vapors, and oxygen, which becomes more acidic. Rain itself is already acidic, but with more mixture of this elements, it becomes more acidic. Acid rain is dangerous to plants and ecosystem, okay, as it damages. It also causes erosion on our cars and other factors. So buildings out there who changes color. So think of Ottawa, the Parliament building. It changes into this color, greenish color. That is from the effect of acid rain. Okay, mixed with chemicals and all that, so it changes car. Makes our car turns rusty and all that. So again, acid rain. More effects from human in terms of pollution, acid rain. All right, conservation. So what is conservation? Well, you can simply pull out your dictionary and look it up, but and to break it down into simpler terms and meaning, think of something that you absolutely love. Okay, an item that you love, that you cannot live without, and you want to protect it. If you don't protect it, we won't have it for future use or long term. So that is conservation. Again, your phone, your smartphone, I'm sure people dropped the phone or lost the phone or they broke the phone, they will go nuts. Again, this is in a way relates to conservation, but we're going to relate conservation in terms of our environment and the way we live. Okay, so protecting is one factor so that we can have it for future use. If we don't protect it, it's going to be gone. Okay, gone quicker, uh, more risks and exposure to danger, and so forth. Okay, that is conservation. All right, sources, resources, renewable and non-renewable. Interesting little topic. Again, I wish we had more time in terms of renewable and non-renewable. We can explore this in terms of really in-depth, but again, unfortunately we can't. We're limited in terms of what we can do in terms of distance ed, but again, it's out there. So, renewables resources are the sun, wind, wave, and the heat from the earth. It can be used again and again and again and again and will not run out. Okay, that's pretty significant. It does not produce greenhouse gases, therefore it's less harmful for the earth and our planet and for ourselves. So again, these are source of energy, types of resources and sources that will not run out. It will always be there to a certain extent. Okay? We can use it again and again, time and time, it will not be gone. So wind power, okay, using nature, okay, there's usually always some type of wind out there, okay, wind turbines, windmills, okay, to help generate power, electricity, solar panels, the sun, okay, this is something that's really increasing, okay, why not take advantage of daylight, sunlight, okay, so solar power. Hydropower, the source of dams. That's the reason why we build dams. Use some water to generate electricity and others. Okay, that goes in and ties with waves and tides. Okay, ocean waves and tides. Whether it's increasing or decreasing, we take advantage of that. Uh, thermal power, heat from the rocks and earth from underneath the earth's surface. So hot rocks, as we go deeper and deeper within the earth, it gets warmer and hotter. Again, we can use that as well. Thermal power. And biomass. Energy from plants such as wood or animal droppings can be burnt to make steam and turn turbines to make electricity. So biomass. Again, I have provided some of my examples. Some of these examples are in your textbook, but in your textbook it talks about oxygen, water, okay, oxygen from photosynthesis, and soil. Okay, soil can be used again through the water cycle. Okay, these are types of energy that we can use again and again and will not run out. Okay, keep that in mind. So that's renewable resources. Non-renewable, okay, know the difference between the two, is in a way the opposite. Okay, non-renewable means once it is gone, she is gone. Okay, most of our electricity comes from power stations such as fossil fuel, like coal, oil, gas, gasoline, and so forth. Again, these are types of examples of non-renewable resources, which means that once it is gone, it is gone. We cannot make any more of it. We cannot buy any more of it. We cannot produce any more of it. Okay, it is gone. Completely gone from our planet and our use. Okay, so keep that in mind. You cannot buy it. You cannot make it again. It is just gone. Okay, it is just gone. So burning fossil fuels produces greenhouse gases, again, which cause more pollution, which leads to global warming. See that problems after problems. Nuclear plants, coal, oil, natural gases, gasoline, and so forth. Okay, so hence why there's now cars that are more efficient. They have eco mode, or what the heck it's called these days, where it loses energy and gasoline half and half. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but again, more efficient cars. We don't want a big truck or a big Jeep that takes up so much gasoline and burns so much fossil fuel. Again, that causes more pollution, which causes more global warming and other more problems as well. Okay, hopefully we can see that link and make that connection in terms of problems after problems and note the difference and how it affects us personally in our community as well. Okay, so renewable and non-renewable is on page 66. Note the difference and note some of the examples. Okay, so the main example for this one is just fossil fuel and oil and coal. And our last part for tonight is conservation, but types of conservation. On page 67, 68, 69, and even page 70, 71 as well. Goes through all these topics. Okay? Yeah, and page 67 all the way to 71. Okay, so I've pretty much taken all these pages and just summarized it all up into a couple points. Okay, but again, types of conservation, 67 to 71 in your textbook. So I'm going to go through each one very, very briefly. Your textbook does give more example about it, just to summarize some of the points. Again, no class that you don't need to know all these types. Again, that's not the point and the goal of our class. Again, if we're here just trying to memorize all the facts and data and evidence, we're not really learning much. Again, just note some and note that how it can affect you and so forth. Okay, find out what's important, make that connection. Okay. All right, air pollution is one. Air conservation. So we know what conservation means. Again, protect it so that we can have it for the future. Air pollution, or just the air conservation. We have pollution. It smells bad. It leads to health problems. Okay, that's not good. Okay, so again, always trying to reduce as much pollution as we can. Okay, doing all these things. Why? Because it smells bad and it can cause health problems. Water. Hopefully we drink water every single day. I believe it's recommended that we drink so much water. I don't know how much water, but so much water a day. But not just drinking water, but we use water to brush our teeth, take a bath, wash our car, water our plants, to go swimming, go fishing, other factors as well. So we need to keep our water fresh and clean and don't waste it. Okay, so if you're brushing your teeth, turn off that tap. Okay, so we need to keep our water clean, fresh, and don't waste it. Okay, soil, again, trying to keep our land or soil crisp and clean and the way it's supposed to be. If not, it leads to erosion. It leads to vegetation disruption and plants, crops cannot be grown and all those other factors. Okay, so again, all of our agricultures and fruits, vegetables, and others come from the land. Again, if we disturb the soil, we cannot have good soil to grow trees and food, and the soil cycle takes a really long time to reproduce. So again, keeping that in mind as well. Next, wildlife. Okay, all of our animal lovers out there, again, I know we'd love to go hunting here in Sioux Lookout and fishing, but if we don't take all that into consideration, our wildlife could be in danger to the point that they become extinct. Okay, I know that climate change and weather is a factor too, but again, our moose population and our deer population can be decreasing or not reproducing at the normal rate it's supposed to be. So again, extinction over hunting. Hopefully we have license and proper gear, and that all that can lead into forest fires as well. Okay, protecting the land, their habitats. Okay, we're not just going in there and breaking the branches and disturbing their habitats. Okay, we don't want other people coming into our home and rearranging our furniture. So same applies for our wildlife. Okay, all kinds of animals, bears, deers, birds. Okay, so much. Okay. Next, metal. Again, that goes back into recycle, reduce, reuse. Again, paper. Okay, this piece of paper that contains my lesson plan. Okay, that can be reused again if I don't want it. It can be recycled. Aluminum, glass bottle, plastic. Okay, all that is not garbage, but recyclable, which means that we can use it again and again and not harm our environment in terms of sustainable living. And then finally, fuel, gasoline. Oh boy, this is kind of like a big one. Again, we drive cars, we love our cars. But again, if we don't have to drive, we can always carpool. Okay, carpool. I'm going to write that on the screen. Okay, so if we have friends, family, relatives, and we know that we're all going to the same place or same location, why not pick them up and help them out? Okay, we can carpool. Okay, where more than one individual hop in their car, go to a place at the same location. Okay, why not don't need to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. Okay, so carpooling. Okay, again, we talked about that example of walking. Okay, being healthy, being fit, we can walk. Again, that saves the need for driving. But again, once fuel's gone, she is gone. Okay, so keep that in mind. How soon? Well, that can just depends on how much gasoline and fuel that we use on a daily basis. Okay, but again, it is It is a non-renewable resources, which means that once it's gone, we cannot produce it again. So again, turn off the lights, saving electricity, uh, doing all these little things help to conserve, help protect our planets, the wildlife, the ecosystem, and other factors as well. Okay. So these are the types of conservation. Again, note that how that relates to us. Know how they can interconnect and influence one another, and so forth. Alrighty? So that's pollution and conservation in a little nutshell. I know that's a little bit short lesson. However, we're not done tonight. We're not done. We got to look at your next assignment. Assignment number 15. This is a big assignment that's in your workbook. It is not out of 32 marks. It's actually out of 40 marks. But again, keep in mind that marks doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Okay? Our goal is not to get perfect on all assignments and all that. Okay, we don't need to get 40 out of 40. Does that tell me something? Yes and no in a way. Okay? Remember, our goal is not just to learn facts in detail and we just to regurgitate them. Okay, because again, anybody can just read any textbook and answer the questions. Again, my goal is try to help everyone become a better thinker, critical thinker, and how to improve your literacy skills. Okay, that's the main point that I'm looking for. Okay, not just your understanding of facts, yes, that is important, but trying to help improve your inquiry-based thinking skills, to become a critical thinker, to become a flexible thinker in terms of what you may learn today may not necessarily apply tomorrow. And again, always trying to improve our literacy skills, not just our reading and writing skills, but how we can articulate and communicate to others in our communities in a formal and educational function way as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, just keep that in mind. Again, don't be overwhelmed. Assignment 15 out of 40 marks. It's not the end of the world. So let's go through some of these questions. Let's do some of them since we have some time. Okay, again, keep in mind my expectation, details, sentences, and so forth. Okay. Question 1. Name 5 things that outline the balance of nature. Okay, name 5 things. Okay, so remember, read each question carefully and answer what's being asked. Again, that's another important component as well. Being able to answer and communicate what's being asked. Okay, so 5 things that can upset the balance of nature. If you can tell me one. Yes, what is one? Pollution. That is one. Okay, so again, don't just write these in jot notes, put them into sentence form. So for example, again, you can always use these examples as well, because I'm giving the class tools that they can use. 5 things. Again, you can always type out your answers as well. 5 things that can upset the balance of nature are, again, you can just list them. Okay, pollution, that's a good answer. Can anyone else give me an example? Mining, oh, that's another good example. Mining, well done. Let's do one more. Can anyone else give me one more example that can upset the balance of nature? Oh, what was that? Oh, that was displaced living animal? That's a good answer. Why not? displace Okay, so that's a good start. Okay, so we just named 3 things. 5 things that can upset the balance of nature are pollution, mining, animals, the displace of living animals or their habitats, and others. Okay, so again, go back to our lesson, go back to your textbook, and use those resources to help you find 2 more examples that can upset the balance of nature. Question 2, what is the ozone layer? Again, just a definition. Okay, I'll start you off. Okay, you can always write the ozone layer is ... Okay, again, sentences, put that into form. 2 marks. Again, acid rain, again, more definitions. Again, you always start off by writing something like this. Be stating the phrase or the definition that you want to define. Acid rain is okay. Acid rain is defined as ... Okay. Question 4: renewable resources. Okay. Are we? Okay, a renewable resource can be used again as it does not run out. Then it asks to give 2 examples. 2 examples of non-renewable. Okay. Again, I'll just put in jot notes, but put it into sentence form. Okay, 2 examples of renewable resource are wind and water. Okay. Something on the guidelines of that. Okay. Question 5, same thing. What is a non-renewable resource? Okay, non-renewable. Again, you can start by saying the same way, define it, and then 2 examples of a non-renewable resources are. Okay. Feel free to use the list that we have discussed in class. There are way more examples as well. What is carpooling? This is not in your textbook, but we talked about it in class. And how does that help reduce air pollution? Okay, so let's write it out. Carpooling is when more than one person are in a car traveling to the same location. But how does that help reduce air pollution? Okay, you can simply write this helps with air pollution as there are less cars on the road. Okay, see how I'm writing in details and sentences that answer exactly what's being asked? Okay, this is what I'm expected. Next question, question 7. Let's list 3 laws you would create if you could help cut down on air pollution. Okay, this is where you can be creative. Okay, this is where you start to use your critical thinking skills. Okay, you cannot necessarily find this in your textbook, but list 3 laws if you could make to help cut down air pollution. Okay, so it could be, for example, public transit. It could be carpooling. Could be mandatory or whatnot. And many, many more. Okay. So again, be creative. Think outside the box. 3 laws that you would create if you could to cut down air pollution. Okay, air pollution. Next question talks about water and land pollution. What are the ways that we can conserve water? Okay, so think of water. How can we conserve water or not waste water? Okay, can you think of some examples where we cannot waste water? Okay, so you can write, we can conserve Okay, we can conserve water by turning off the tap while we brush our teeth. Okay, so that's one example. There could be others too. Okay, so again, ways that we can conserve and not waste water. Next, you'll see a little chart. Basically, you're putting a little check mark in a correct column in terms of the description corresponds. Okay, so we're looking at the description, and we'll put in a check mark and we'll see if it's land pollution or water pollution. Okay, land pollution or water pollution. So number 1, for example, says wash sewage discharge. Okay, well, keyword here is sewage. We know sewage is water, so it has to be water. So you put a little check mark there. Some of these can be subjective. Yes, I can understand. And I will take that into account, but as long as you're getting a general theme. Number 2, dumping chemicals into rivers. Again, rivers. Keyword is water. Pesticides. That could be land and water. Detergents. I'm going to put that under water. Garbage. Well, that could be land. Burial or dumps of toxic waste. Well, waste. Land. Fertilizer. That's definitely land. Use of DDT on chemical, uncontrolled mosquitoes. Land. Litter. Could be both. Okay, subjective. And abandoned junk cars, which is land. Okay, so again, you put in a little check mark on where it responds to each column. Okay, a bit different. Again, it uses your thinking skills and process of elimination in a way. Next, something different. A different learning strategy. Fill in the blanks. Okay, These are 13, basically 3 marks in a way. Again, marks doesn't really mean anything, but again, this is just a different type of learning. Okay, different type of learning. So, for fill in the blanks, for those of you who have not done this before, you're reading the sentence and choosing the correct response on the top that best fits the statement. Again, I believe you can only use one word once. So let's give it a try. Number 1, anything that harms the environment is, okay, anything that harms the environment is what? Okay, again, you're using your thinking skills, you're using your process of elimination. I put it in words to see if it makes sense. Okay, anything that harms the environment is, well, I like this word, pollution. You're right with pollution. Okay, let's look at number 7. There's 2 of them. Pollution, blank, stays in one place. It blanks to all parts of the environment. Okay, pollution, let's use this word, does not stay in one place, and it spreads to all parts. Okay, makes sense? Kind of get it? Again, using our thinking skills, process of elimination, different style of learning in a way, but again, using the keywords at the top and you're trying to match it with the correct response in terms of the sentence. Okay. And finally, a question that asks about 66,000 square miles of the world's tropical rainforest are being destroyed each year. How does this affect the balance of nature? Okay. Think of animals. Okay. Hint, hint, animals. If we destroy forests, how does that impact animals? Okay, it's basically what it's asking. Okay, so that right there is assignment number 15, the second last assignment for geography. So again, a larger assignments, but again, some of them are similar where we have to define definitions, or I have to write full complete sentences. Yeah, I'm going to check for spelling and grammar. That's important too. And different types of strategy as well. We have charts, we have fill in the blanks, etc. Okay, etc. Any questions with that? Hopefully that helps a lot, and hopefully that gives you some kind of tools and strategies in terms of how to tackle assignment number 15. And these strategies and tools can help in terms of all your assignments as well. Next week on Tuesday, we're going to look at longitude and latitude. Okay, looking at maps. Okay, slightly different way, but looking at latitude and longitude. We'll define each one. We'll look at some on maps and how we can read longitude and latitude and how we can write latitude and longitudes. Okay, so that's next week on Tuesday. Okay, that might carry over into Thursday as well, depending on how much time we have. But then we'll look at assignment 16, which is all basically fill in the blank and multiple choice. Again, different strategies as well in terms of our learning. But that's next week on Tuesday and Thursday. And then a week from today, I'll give a class some examples of what to expect for your tests, for your exam. I don't even like to use the word test or exam. I just think of it as a huge culminating task that you have to write in order to complete this course and get this credit for PLAR, history, and geography. Okay, so that's our agenda for next week. Hopefully, everyone will have a fantastic and safe Halloween. Get a lot of candies and chocolate. Knocking on people's door and saying hello. But that's that. So again, have a good and safe Halloween. I think we'll stop here for tonight. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. And hopefully I will be talking to all of you soon. And hopefully next week as well. Have a good night, and I'll see everyone next week on Tuesday. Happy Halloween. Thank you.